So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Zoom setup in the Zoom interface and what are some settings that you might want to tweak if you're going to start doing a Zoom. So when I launch my first Zoom, it's actually going to open and launch the Zoom app. And when that Zoom app is open, it's going to look like this. So in this Zoom app, it's going to have a bunch of buttons that are going to go across the bottom. And so on. So by default, your camera or microphone may be muted. So when I join my chat here or my Zoom, if I scroll or just move my cursor down here at the bottom, I may have to unmute in order to turn my audio on. Same thing with video. When I hit start video, then it's going to activate my web camera and use both of those things simultaneously. Now, if you ever have a situation where you can't hear, you have maybe headphones plugged into your computer and you have everything that looks right, but all of a sudden you can't hear what anybody else is saying. If you check next to every one of these buttons, there's a little triangle. And when I click on that triangle, this will show you all the different options that are going on here. So the first option is what microphone it's using to record your recording. So if I have an external microphone plugged in, like this one right here, I might want to make sure that, hey, when I'm recording or using my Zoom, I wanted to use my external microphone, not the built-in one that's built into my laptop. Same thing goes with the speaker. When it is playing music or playing audio from people talking, I need to control where that sound is coming from. So built-in output would be the speakers built into my computer. Or if I have headphones plugged in, that may show up as an option in there too, as far as headphone port. And you even have an option in here that you can test your speaker and microphone to make sure everything is working beforehand, and you can talk and make sure it's picking up your audio, just to make sure those things work before you actually start your Zoom, to make sure things are good. Same thing also goes with video. If I hit this little triangle, if I have multiple cameras, maybe I have a phone plugged in, I could actually use the phone camera as my webcam if I wanted to. This is also where you'll find the virtual background options. So I can go in here to virtual background, and this is where I can actually, if I have a green screen, I can check that I have a green screen box, and it will remove the green background and allow me to choose a different image to put in there if I want to. I also have a spot over here where you'll see your participants. This is where the people, once they join, click on your link and join, they're going to show up in here. I have a chat window that when I click on that chat window, it's going to open up a Zoom chat. Now, I right here am in full screen mode. If I exit full screen mode, then the chat will dock itself over here onto the side. It won't be full screen front and center. A couple other options. I have the ability to share my screen. So if I wanted to share my screen with other people in my presentation, so if I don't want just the webcam, I want to share whatever it is I'm doing with my audio at the same time, I can simply tap share screen, and that's where I'll have the ability to share either my desktop screen, or I can either AirPlay to a iPad that's in my possession, or I prefer to plug in iPads or phones, and you can actually navigate and share the iPad screen directly to all of your participants at the same time. It'll also show you what other apps you have open, so if you wanted to jump right to a specific app, you could do that as well. You have options up here at the top to only do a portion of your screen if you wanted to. If you wanted to plug in a second camera, you could use content from that second camera, like a phone, to maybe act as like a document camera if you wanted to do that. Or you could even share files directly. You could take something directly out of your drive and send it that way as well. In my share options, next to that little triangle right next to it here, I can control who can share. So if I go into my sharing options in that little triangle, I can control whether only I am allowed to share my screen or do I want to allow all participants. So it's up to you. It depends on how you're doing it. If I allow other people, then technically somebody else would be able to share that screen. And if they do, I can control whether or not other people can take over for somebody else, or only can I kick people off if I want to. So again, entirely up to you. Depends on what you're doing. If you need somebody else to show you what they're doing or demonstrate what they're doing, that's kind of a cool feature on. This is where you will control your recording. You can stop and start the recording right here. I could just simply click stop to stop, or click record to tell it to record, and that's what's going to record my meeting. I can turn on closed captions if I want. We'll have a whole separate video all about breakout rooms, but this is where you can go to create a breakout room and assign breakout rooms to different people, and then you can even set timers where they can only be in that breakout room for so much time, and then it'll kick them back to you whenever that time is up. That's where all of those settings live. And then finally, you have the ability to do reactions, which are simply little applauses or thumbs up if you want to be able to do that. So again, this is a good way to kind of navigate or control what's going on from your computer side. And controlling it from the computer is going to be a lot easier than trying to control it from the iPad. So again, I like to typically try to use my computer and my iPad at the same time. So my computer is kind of running the show, whereas my iPad might be what I'm using to deliver my content. So if I'm trying to demonstrate something that students are going to be seeing, I'll use an iPad, since that's the exact same device that they're going to see, in order to be able to do that. And I'll just do that by sharing. That's just a couple settings and how you might want to consider setting up your Zoom.